Hello viewers, welcome back and good to see all of you in this new year. Wishing all of you a very happy and prosperous 2023. So today's video is going to be about the impact of women as directors in the corporate world. Now let us dive deep into the video and look into what are the aspects we're going to cover today. So it is extremely vital that every company must have a minimum number of directors. So this is not just a general requirement to meet a company's diversity requirement. It is also elucidated under the Companies Act of 2013. Now the directors of a company play a very crucial role in the company's functioning and its overall management. So the Companies Act of 2013 talks about these provisions relating to the women and independent directors of a company. The law was passed by the Indian government and it is a good start towards empowering women in the workplace, especially in the boards. Now let us see what are the Indian laws which enable women in this corporate world. Now, India is the first developing country to make this law of appointing female directors on the board of companies. Same rule has also been prevailing in countries like France, Italy and Norway. But there is no such law which makes it compulsory in any of the countries, any of the, say for example, the three big economies of the world, which is like in America, China and Japan, which says that women have to be part of the board. There is no compulsion on that aspect in these three big countries. But under the new principles as commanded under the SEBI standards in our country, each recorded organization ought to have no less than one lady executive on its board. And this has come into power and from effect from the October 2014. Let us see now what are the positive impact of having these women on board. Now the value and advantage of having women directors on the board not only pertains to the difference in the gender classifications, but additionally how they attribute and how they enhance the decision-making process in the boardrooms is important. So women directors' functional attributes such as their independence, their leadership, along with their professional attributes relating to their education, their financial expertise, their nationality, also promotes to effective monitoring and it reduces agency conflicts, bolstering the bank's reputations, widening resources and increasing investor confidence and market valuation to a large extent. So according to the McKinsey's report, which clearly says that organizations which have women on board clearly shows there has been an increase of 56% on the working result for the companies, and there has also been a 41% of increase on the return of the value for the companies as compared with no representation of women on the boards. Now, the Leeds University Business School's reports also have clearly mentioned that no less than one female chief on board seems to have reduced an organization's possibilities of going best by around 20%, and having a few female chief brings down the dangers significantly more to the companies as well. So I would like to share a few examples of women directors who are on board of the companies in our country. Now, the largest known industry and in our country, as everybody is aware of, is the Reliance Industries, and it has designated Nita Ambani, wife and of the director Mr. Mukesh Ambani, on its board. So it is notable to see that most of the women executive or directors are generally related with their family members, or they are the wives of the directors or the promoters. For example, Videocon, Tatagar Wagons, JK Tyre, JK Cements. So we have Anita Mani from Just Dial Limited. We have Archana Jaitia from Asian Hotels North Limited. Aarti Kothari for Kothari Products Limited. Beena Modi for Godfrey Phillips India Limited. So these are the couple of examples where you could see very clearly women being on their board and heading these big organizations. It is a great step taken in our country where they have enforced that women directors have to be on board, and they've made it compulsory by the Companies Act. But it is also important to understand that we can have more and more women representing the companies in the board especially. For example, 40% of representation is given in the country Norway, where the representation of women are more on the boards. So it is essential that companies should move beyond the mandate of being a more compliance requirement to effectively using a diversified and well-qualified board to add value. And gender diversification is a useful step for company boards to follow. It's equally important that it is accompanied with a genuine intent to professionalize the board and improve the overall standards of the governance. And also it is important that when more women are on the board, it not only helps to strengthen the board and also clears there is a good gender diversification. It is equally important for the women who are representing in the board to also voice their opinions very clearly and take their roles very serious and take it forward. I would like to conclude by saying that it is a great step that our country has welcomed one member as a woman to be on the board, but it is only on the aspects of a compliance, which many of these industries or the corporates have their own relatives or their wives who have been appointed as members of the board. But this has to move on from just being mere a compliance aspect to be treated to more on a very professional and serious aspect, where more other women are being brought onto the board to have more professionality and gender diversity to be maintained. Now, the argument for fair gender representation is strengthened by the strong link between increased gender diversity and corporate financial success. The truth remains that there is still a gender imbalance on the boards of directors, and this has to be addressed to a large extent immediately, and India should be a country which is going to be setting example for the other countries of the world. So the women directors also should be given a place in nomination committees that add to the gender diversity. It can also help build a diverse leadership pipeline in the company cultures. This is true for a woman who occupy the corner suite or are in a key positions. So it is highly important to understand, if you are a woman director on boards, please ensure that you do your best on the boards and voice your opinion in a professional aspect in the boards. I hope this video would have been informative to all of you. See you next time and have a great year ahead. Thank you so much.